Good afternoon. My name is Leslie Williams and I am in San Diego, California. And this particular video is being made in order to be able to synthesize some information to you in order for you to be able to conclude, investigate, deliberate, and then conclude your own decisions concerning the factual realities of what is known as organized stalking and gang stalking. It's not stalking by gangs. It's nothing but an implemented form of organized harassment that is implemented by, managed by, and protected by organized crime that's in the system at every level, military, federal, and state and local levels. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fly right into the factual realities concerning some of the aspects of these expeditions. Now, let me ask you a question. What would you do if I told you that the human brain and the entire physiological system and the biological systems of an entire human body had been deciphered and decoded, including neural encoding and neural decoding? Okay? I'm here today, fellow American citizens, to tell you the truth. It has, and it has been for a long time. Now, what they're doing in reference to the technological resources and weaponry that they have developed in order to be able to manipulate the human biological system, from head to toe, okay, has been perfected. And the reason why they're doing this is because human experimentation is not the only aspect of these criminal expeditions of organized stalking. So I want you to listen to this particular audio statement, okay, that is in this tape recorder. Listen very closely about how family members, spouses, children, friends, and pets are targeted and tortured in order to heighten the mental and emotional responses that they targeted. See, what they do is they target, like, say for instance me. Say if I have a mother, father, a sister, and 4 brothers, okay? And I am living with them as I'm being targeted. And they know that these crimes are happening to me. Or say if I also have children, okay? What they're going to do in order to be able to make sure that they can use me for the longest time, and if not for the entire rest of my life, in reference to human experimentation, what they want to be able to do, okay, is isolate targets in these expeditions. And as a result, what they'll do is they can not only influence family members and friends to walk away from a target, but they can also neurally manipulate and torture family members, spouses, the children of a target, friends of a target, and even the target's pets. And why would they do that? Well, any time that any person, no matter it be you, me, or your next door neighbor, or anybody else, experiences a crime, an assault of some type, their body and their mind is reacting to it, okay? In other words, say if somebody walked up to you, whether it be a family member or a friend, somebody, an acquaintance, or a total stranger, walked up to you and punched you in the face. What do you think? How do you think that you would react to it mentally, and how do you think your body would react to it as a result of experiencing it? Okay, the body and the mind would the body would react to it physiologically. The brain would go right to the fight or flight mode. Yes, and you would experience emotional clusters, certain specific brain states, and certain thought patterns as a result of being physically attacked. Now, why would they be doing this? Why would organized stalking managers perpetrate this type of crime, including even rape, to a target? Why? Because as these assaults are taking place, or as they're witnessing a loved one being abused with this technology, or with the physical organized stalking, gang stalking expedition, as the target is witnessing this or experiencing it, they have and process certain brain states in response to it, certain emotional states, emotional clusters in response to it, and certain thought processes and as a result of experiencing it or witnessing it. And why? So this is the reason why it's being done. And why is the question. Because as the target is witnessing it or experiencing it, they're experiencing brain states, mental responses, which are thought responses, and emotional clusters, and physiological responses to an assault or witnessing a loved one being assaulted, and even tortured. And why are they doing that? Because what they're doing is harvesting EEG spikes and emotional clusters. Yes, with remote neural monitoring. Do you know how, like, if you went down Kansas City Interstate Road, you would see crops and crops of cornfields, and once that corn matures, what happens to it? It gets harvested, it gets collected, and this is what I'm talking about. What they're doing is perpetrating torture, assaults, and rapes purposely and intentionally, so the brain experiences emotional clusters, brain states, and thought processes as these assaults and tortures are being experienced and witnessed. So these emotional clusters, brain states, and physiological signals that they're experiencing as the assault is witnessed or experienced can be harvested into the technology and computer that is holding the remote neural monitoring. Because what they're doing is harvesting EEG spikes and emotional clusters, which is nothing but biochemical electrical signals. Okay? And if you don't believe me, I strongly suggest you listen to this. This is an individual who runs an organization, and he's flat out stating the criminality that these individuals will go through in order to be able to heighten the sense of torture by targeting not only the target, but also their loved ones. Listen to this.
Do they say whether their family members too are being harassed, or is it just them?
It is usually them in most cases, although if they are married, it sometimes, or oftentimes actually, affects either their husband or wife or their children even. The people that are around them, they tend to attack as well, including pets. To heighten the sense of torture and torment. The people that are doing this are merciless and ruthless in what they are doing, and they have no problem of torturing even little kids to the point of making them scream out loud. So this is a really a heinous atrocity that is happening. We are trying to educate the public about what's going on, and so that they can be aware that some of these symptoms that people are experiencing, they may also be experiencing and maybe not realize that this is what that is.
Okay, now I want you to listen to this. This is literally an individual talking about how human experimentation is going on for these purposes, and including these purposes. Research and development in reference to basically what they're also attempting to do is engage in what is called as mind uploading, emotional cluster uploading, and EEG uploading, and that's what the torture and assault and human experimentation is all about. Listen to how he talks about brain entrainment and harvesting emotional clusters and EEG spikes. It's towards the end of the audio file.
Being a victim, or even if you've just heard this tonight and you're concerned with the fact that it's not illegal, really illegal for the government to experiment on the public, write your senators, write your representatives, tell them that you want legislative changes to the common rule. Especially now is a good time to do it because we've just met with the commission. They are well aware that this is happening. There were at least 10 victims there who gave chilling testimonies. I talked to them and I showed them the loopholes of the common rule that skirt informed consent. Right now is a good time to really write your senators and your representatives saying that we need cut and dried legislation against experimentation. At least that would give a basis for victims to bring litigation against the government when this is being done. This is hard technology to prove, George. It's unseen. It's either HARP or satellite based. It's weapons that are being used on you remotely. You can't see directed energy. You certainly can't see, microwave waveforms that are being beamed at your head. About the only thing you can do is try to catch the stalkers, because this always goes on with organized stalking. It's a combination approach. The organized stalking is meant to put you in a victim mindset that they can get into your house and you can't stop them, while the rest of it probably is the true experimentation, which is with the directed energy and the EEG entrainment.
All right, we'll stay with the split program tonight, so we're going to take your phone calls this coming hour then, and also perhaps your stories. Maybe you've been a victim. We're with Dr. John Hall, his work, A New Breed Satellite Terrorism in America. And welcome back with Dr. John Hall. John, as you were talking about your situation with your family, that's one of the reasons you got interested in this. Did you believe it in the beginning? Did you think it was happening?
Probably not at first. and and that's what we see with a lot of victims. Is it's real quick. Whenever someone's hearing voices that no one else can hear, it's real easy to write them off as mentally ill, and certainly we're seeing that in the psychiatric population. But when you put it in context with the breaking and entering, which is noticeable, the vandalism that's done in the homes, you have to put it in that context. And when you have these victims come to you, a lot of them feel that they've been chipped, and we have found some chips in some people. It's being done through chipping and non-chipping technology. When you put it in context with everything else, marks on the skin, break-ins, people following them around, which can be documented, then you have to take it seriously as victimization, and that they've been basically enrolled in an experimental protocol, and it's not mental illness.
Do we have any champions in Congress who will battle for us?
So far, that's really kind of what we're looking for, and we're hoping that by having met with these people at the Presidential Commission on Bioethics, that will give us a stepping stone to getting some Congress people involved in the fight, and certainly involved in the fight in changing the common rule to where it actually will protect you from experimentation. Because like I said, right now, the way it reads on these agencies getting informed consent, there's at least 4 ways for them to skirt informed consent that are so vague that it's amazing that more experimentation than is going on isn't being done on the public.
Okay, let's go to the phones. We'll go to Skype first of all in Macomb, Illinois. Julio's with us on Coast to Coast. Hi, Julio.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I had 2 quick questions, and then I have a comment, and I think some interesting stuff going on with me being followed. Do you think with sound technology they could be manipulating people through music and the media? I'm a broadcasting major, so I think it's interesting how they could easily deceive people. And in terms of sound technology and cell phones, what could be a tipping point? I recently did an investigative report on Rahm Emanuel, and it's on YouTube, Exposed Rahm Emanuel, and I think following that, I've been hearing things on my cell phone like glitches. I hear echoes all the time, and I have one of those quote smartphones, so I think it's really easy. I hear people sometimes conversations in my cell phone while I'm talking with another person, and the person on the other line thinks I'm crazy, but I honestly hear this stuff, and I just want to hear from you. I think you're the perfect person, Dr. Hall, to ask about this. And God bless you, and keep up the good work. And George, you're awesome as well. Webster talked to last night was great, so keep up the good work.
Go ahead, John.
Well, to answer your question, actually, that is actually older technology. Subliminal messaging through any type of sound wave is actually called silent sound spread spectrum technology. That was invented by a man, the last name of Lowry. The patent has been around for a long time, and according to him, and this is quotations directly from him, that he can piggyback this silent sound spread spectrum technology through anything that produces a radio frequency wave, whether it's a cell phone, stereo system, your car stereo, and according to him, can actually download emotional clusters sets into your brain and clone EEG tracings through silent sound spread spectrum, and that technology can be used across anything that generates audio or any type of a radio frequency signal. Certainly your stereo system or your cell phone would qualify.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'd like you to listen to now, if you feel inclined to do so, is to listen to these following audio files so you can understand what this is all in part. What this is additional information. Sorry, got a little tongue-tied. Listen to this.
At CoastToCoastAM.com, the group formed back about 8 years ago addressing the issues of organized stalking and remote electronic assaults, the secret research and deployment of these devices and techniques affecting the multitudes of people around all over the planet, actually.
Okay, so listen to this audio file. Okay, hold on one second. Now this has to do with what is known as V2K, which is called voice to skull. And I'm going to give you an illustration concerning about how voice to skull is actually not that, not anymore. It's not exactly sophisticated technology. And the following example I'm going to give you has nothing to do with the type of, there's some headphones that are called Skull Candy. Skull Candy headphones, or the company that makes them, has nothing to do with these criminal expeditions. This is just an illustration in reference to how you can see that these criminal expeditions are happening, and the fact that technology does exist that's able to transmit either songs, anything that's being transmitted through an electronics means right into the person's audio cortex. There's some headphones called Skull Candy, and Skull Candy, from what I'm understanding, operates in the same way, where it bypasses the ear canal and the eardrum, and the whatever's being like if you have them plugged into a radio, an MP3 player, iPod, whatever you're listening to, bypasses the eardrum and the ear canal and goes straight into the audio cortex. And they have perfected pretty good noise cancellation. It's the same concept. Or you can go to YouTube and type in the audio spotlight. And if you look for enough videos concerning that technology, you'll literally be able to see it being demonstrated in a library where it's quiet on a person who's unsuspecting that it's happening to them. Now this is a diagram here concerning the voice to skull technology in reference to the fact that the technology exists and how it works. It was I got this printout. I had it before I even got this book. I just got this book like a week and a half ago. It's a good book, okay? And it talks about microwave technology and even implementation. Organized stalking and gang stalking is mentioned throughout this book. But what I want you to understand is that if you go to the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, the very, very bottom of the homepage, you'll see 3 PDF links: Remote Neural Monitoring and Remote Behavioral Influencing Technology. And in order for you to understand what this guy is saying, you got to understand this. His statements are in direct alignment with the simple fact that, you know how I'm talking to you right now? I'm using my voice print. The melody, the pitch, and the sound of my voice can be incorporated within the software that the perpetrators hold, that the perpetrators have, that had the remote neural monitoring and the remote behavioral influencing technology in. And as a result of my voice print being captured by them, including my subvocal speech, they put that voice print in their computer, and then the computer will compose sentences using artificial intelligence, or the person who's monitoring the computer can also type in specific psychological direction themed statements to beam into the audio cortex using that target's voice print. And as a result, because it's transmitted under the perceptual radar, which means the target has no idea that it's being done by a third party, as a result of them hearing what's transmitted in their audio cortex using their own voice, they just believe that it's an internal thought they're having because it's being transmitted in their voice print. Then what they'll do is not only transmit a thought at the subliminal level or the conscious level, they will then, once that thought is experienced and the target believing it's their own thought, what they'll do then is transmit V2K to harass the target about the thought. And this is all done in order to excite emotional and mental responses of the target so they can choreograph them and harvest them. Listen to this. Hold on. Right here.
Well, George, I have voice to skull 24/7, 365 days a year. It's non-stop, and these are imminent demise voices. And there's probably 4 different type of voices that come into my skull. You cannot stop them. They are penetrating the head. I also get subliminal thoughts, which enters the cerebral cortex of your brain, which is 80% of where your brain does all the thinking. And what they do is they put a subliminal into my head, and after putting that thought into my head, they will go off with the voice to skull to narrate or comment about that thought. I've also had surgery.
Tell me about the group you've got in CM.
I have a group of boys, a fast group, and their ages range from 21 to 67. We just had, unfortunately, one of our members, we're actually right now trying to get a murder investigation because we had she died, and I was going to videotape her story roughly about a week before she died. Or a week, yeah, that month when she died, I was going to videotape her story because she was being tortured so much. And unfortunately, we have another TI that lives underneath her in a low-income housing that is tortured every night. We've made the Seattle Police Department aware of this, and we can't get a murder investigation because we're not a member of the family, and they have not found documentation.
Okay, so anyways, sorry about that. I accidentally let the next file play. It rolled over into the next file. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams, and I make these videos to inform, to expose the truth concerning the criminal expeditions of what is known as organized stalking, which is also called gang stalking. And let me give you another aspect in reference, let me enlighten you on another aspect in reference to these criminal expeditions. Hang on a second, though. Okay, now I want you to listen to this audio file because what they can do, see, after they isolate a target, see, if they could transmit any psychological direction into my brain using my voice print, they can do it to you, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your friends, and even a lawyer you go see. If you file a class action lawsuit or a civil lawsuit against the perpetrators, if you're lucky enough to be able to identify them or people that have worked for them, like certain police officers, and you can possibly sue them for gross negligence of duty, these judges that your case can go to can be neurally influenced to dismiss the evidence, to call the target delusional. They can influence lawyers not to take your case. And here's another thing that they can do. By mimicking and by taking and capturing the voice print of that lawyer, inserting it into the technology, and then transmitting psychological direction into that lawyer's audio cortex, and he believes that he's just having second thoughts about taking your case. Literally. And if you don't believe me, listen to this. What they can also do is they can, if you're lucky enough to get in a hold of a lawyer who will take your case and is not corruptible or who might know about these technologies, listen to another thing that they can possibly do. As a result of taking my voice print, they can take my voice print and then put it in a computer and then talk into the computer, and anything they say can come out in my voice print, okay? Then they call up my law firm and start acting crazy using my voice print. Or even start calling the lawyer nuts, or cause a reason for the lawyer to not want anything to do with you based on what's being said by them in your voice print over the phone. They'll even call up the lawyer and say, I've decided to go with another lawyer acting to be you. Ah, yeah. My name is Leslie Williams. Or they'll get on the phone and act crazy so the lawyer will believe that the truth you told them is really nothing but craziness. And this is all done to keep the target isolated in these campaigns. And if you don't believe me, listen to this.
Well, unfortunately, George, they make, the last year of my mom's life, they made subliminal thoughts go into her head, thinking that I was crazy. After 47 years of knowing her son and being truthful with her, that she one day was listening to me, the next day she didn't want anything to do with me. So
Just like that.
just like that, yeah, oh yeah, they could put a subliminal in your kids, they put a subliminal in your friends and family, your circle of friends and family, so that's how we get isolated.
Now,
And isolation is the worst part of it.
in your opinion, why are they doing this to people?
In my opinion, well, I'm with is the worst part of it.
In your opinion, why are they doing this to people?
In my opinion, well, I'm with Derek. I believe we're beyond the experimental. We're in the
You're into the application stage.
Yes, sir. I actually am a victim because I got 1,756 people reinstated with DSHS insurance with Washington State. After I did that, a few phone calls to senators and DSHS and emails, all of a sudden my emails don't work, my phones don't work, my cars break down, all this stuff. But I reversed 1,750 people losing their insurance. They got reinstated, and life became hell.
Is there a way out for you, Ron, or
who I am, and they know I can't make up things that happen to me, and they see my cars and appliances. My appliance will break down, my oven will break down on Thanksgiving right in the middle of baking the turkey.
That's when they attack your appliances and control the functions of them, and that's literally mentioned in the remote neural monitoring file. Now, hang on a second, please. Alright, now this is the folder right here. I want you to listen to how he talks about voice morphing. Literally, everything I just got done stating. Listen closely to this.
What happened to me prior and during all this false accusation? I am trying to bring this up in the court to prove mind control is happening.
Oh, and just to let you know, this voice skull technology is actually called the microwave hearing effect, and that's the second PDF link that's at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance's webpage.
Happening in the Seattle area. Are you going to be able to bring witnesses and things like that? I am, yes.
are you going to get some media coverage on this?
I am hoping to. I actually was in, I tried to call you 3 or 4 times during your last program that I was on hold. They disconnected me, just like they did tonight. They turned off my phone system, so I had to do some miraculous stuff to get my phone back on. But I was in cahoots with the Seattle Times columnist, and because of the DSHS factor, and all that stuff, she's interested. But unfortunately, they can morph voices on, phone calls, and they can use my voice and make me look like a total idiot, and the person won't be able to pick up the phone or email me again. They can intercept your emails, and I actually emailed the Department of Defense last week, and right before I was sending it, they erased the whole thing and they shut down my email.
How many people, Ron, do you think are involved in doing this?
Well,
People, Ron, do you think are involved in doing this?
Well, unfortunately, I've come across a lot of, how do I say this, a lot of policemen, a lot of doctors, and...
So it's organized.
Oh, it's very organized, and it's very, I will never believe it's too far to stop. I believe if we made the public more aware of what the atrocities that are coming down the pipe, that there will be I wouldn't want to say a revelation, but there'd be a lot of people saying, what the hell's going on here now?
Well, you take care.
Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end this particular audio file, but I think that this video should have been able to show you enough concerning the factual realities of torture, rape, assaults, grand larceny, racketeering of all forms, human trafficking, because this technology is used for brain entrainment. You can go to YouTube and type in Timothy W. bioethics issues and listen to him talk about neurocognitive weapons and brain entrainment. And brain entrainment and brain stimulation is mentioned throughout the entire remote neural monitoring and remote behavioral influencing file that I've already stated in this video in reference to the 3 PDF links that are on the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance's homepage. Now, the reason why I make this video is because we are supposed to have guaranteed constitutional rights, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration